What a joy it is to be at one of the world's great racecourses, Leopardstown, just days ahead of the Dublin Racing Festival. I'm joined by Tattersalls' three amigos, Jamie Codd, Puppy Power and Barry O'Neill, and we're going to find out some of the intricacies about this great course. I think I'm right, guys, in my accolades. It is wonderful, isn't it?
Great track, yeah, it's a proper Grade 1 track. Big fences, and yeah, you need a brave horse and a brave jockey around here.
Robbie, we're down at the 3 mile start, 2017, obviously sizing John. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously it was his first time up to 3 miles. Obviously you can't be certain until you try it, but I was fairly confident he'd get the trip. But as you see here, when you line out these 4 fences, he was the most fantastic jumper I ever rode, and he jumped the first and kind of latched on, and my idea was to try and get him switched off. So it took me 4 or 5 fences to get him switched off, which wasn't ideal. But yeah, look, a horse like him that's such a good jumper, when they look down there and see that line of fences, they do latch on.
Short enough run to the first?
Yeah, it just comes off a bit of a dog leg. It's not so bad in a Grade 1 race. We only have 7 or 8 runners, but in the Paddy Power Christmas now with 30 runners, it's very competitive down to that first fence. And as you can see, there's plenty of room with the fence, great width to it, and the 30 runners can spread out, but it is plenty of pace on a competitive handicap like that.
You want to try and get a good jump to first, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's very important.
Positive
in them big handicaps that you make the first right, and then, then you're in your position, then you're where you want to be. So a lot can go wrong.
The start is obviously so important with them big handicaps, and I'm sure like that you have a lot 10, 12 lads told to be in the first 3 or 4, and I suppose in a handicap like that, to get the bounce right from the tapes is very important.
You have to be on the ball at the start, and I mean, if you want to be in the first 3 or 4, ideally you have to be upsides in front jumping the first, and then you can stop back into your posse. So it's a difficult job for a starter sometimes, because you've got 10 or 15 lined up coming at him gun ho. So it's competitive, yeah.
Miss the first and you're 7 or 8 quick enough, like
very quickly, yeah.
Isn't it extraordinary coming out of midwinter to see the sprinklers on? But golly, don't we need it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Leopardstown have done a great job, and they've probably done too good a job on the chase track with the drainage systems. But look, they're doing the forecast is for a dry week. It's the sprinklers are on. They're putting plenty of water onto it, as you can see from the stick. It's going in nicely. It's making a good out mark in the ground. So you'd probably call that yielding ground at the moment. And I can't see it being any quicker than that come the weekend. I think that'll definitely.
That'd be important, wouldn't it?
Very important, because you've got such a high quality horse running here this week, and you've got the best Ireland has to offer for over the 2 days is going to run at this festival. So it's very important the ground is right.
Tell me about the boards. We're looking at them now. We're seeing 2 parallel boards, and they're orange. The UK have gone white. It's a little bit contentious at the moment. We've got Cheltenham coming up. Should we be orange? Should we be the same?
Look, it's interesting. England have gone for the white toe boards. France are the same. Look, traditionally, I don't know. I think horses will jump whatever's there in front of them. If there was a tyre fence there, they jump them, you know. But obviously, it would be ideal to have maybe the 3 countries aligned.
In France, everything that is solid is white.
Yeah, it is, but I don't see any big difference. I agree with Jamie. If you're riding a good jumper, if I was going down there and sizing John, I wouldn't care if it was pink. You're riding a good jumper, they're watching what they're doing the whole time, and I don't think it's going to make a whole bit of difference. And then 2 mile championship races, like Energamine the other day, that was jumped off helter-skelter down over the first few fences. There's no time for a horse backing off. They have to be quick through the air and dancing on their feet or doing it all quick. Especially in them shorter races, the 2 mile championship races, if a horse is looking or that he could lose half a length of the hurdle, and it could be vital. But look, I think they started in October, or whenever it started in England with the white. Most trainers now have white, some of the fences painted white, and I can't see that being an issue.
Everybody's got that at home.
Everyone's got that. Yes, don't get me wrong, there will be people use excuses if the horse makes a mistake at the last and they get beaten, but to make a mistake at the last after jumping 7 or 8 before it anyway, so.
We're too long hopping away and point of points, sorry.
Robbie, take me back 5 years, 2017, sizing John, wonderful horse. He had met his match with 2 milers. You were keen to step him up in trip. I think you'd been to Thurles and you'd won over 2.5, but this was your first day over 3 miles. What were your feelings?
Yeah, as I say, I was pretty confident he'd get the trip, but you don't know until you try. And he was a very strong travelling horse. He had a very high cruising speed, and obviously he Grade 1 form over 2 miles. I think he'd actually won a Grade 1 over 2 miles, so he had proper form. But you look back to a lot of Gold Cup winners.
Was it tricky to settle him though over a longer trip?
Yeah, it was, yeah. He was used to jumping off and going as fast as he was able to go. So down over the first 4 or 5 fences, it did take me a while to get him. Actually, it didn't take me a while. I failed to get him to switch off over the first 5 fences. But when we turned up towards the last of the circuit to go, he actually spat it out then. But then a loose horse came and annoyed me a little bit as well, which got him going again. But it was actually that year that in the Irish Gold Cup they didn't go that fast, and that's probably why he latched on in the Gold Cup in Cheltenham that year. He spat it out straight away and lobbed away. So yeah, I think the run over 3 miles before Cheltenham definitely stood.
Good horse, wasn't he? Good horse.
Oh, he was a proper horse.
And he was a Tattersalls Island graduate. He was I think he was submitted by Ballincarrig, bought by John Blaheen as a foal. And the rest is history. Of course, the Potts then bought him, didn't they, from John, I presume?
Yeah, they did, and he was the most beautiful looking horse. If you painted a picture of a horse, you'd paint Size and John. You know, he was 16'3", big brown horse. He was a gorgeous horse to look at, and real athlete as well. Great movement about him and all that. So, yeah, no, he was a pleasure to ride.
A lot of shrewd judges all the way from John Blaheen, Ballincarrig,
yeah,
Jesse.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, they all had a go.
But it is Size and John as they run to the finish. Size and John for Jessica Harrington, Robbie Power.
Open Ditch comes up second fence in the Gold Cup. Early enough, but God, isn't it extraordinarily inviting? It's beautiful.
I set you up, I suppose, coming off the back of the first, if you've pinged that, you'll be going down to this full of confidence. You know, it's a nice run. From the first to the ditch. So if you have jumped the first well, then you're coming down here rolling, and you're probably going to see a good one. But maybe if you've got in a bit tight to the first, you're kind of looking at it
might be a different story.
Willie Gibbons is the track foreman. He's been here since I think 1986. His father before him was here since the 40s. So the Gibbonses have been absolutely fantastic. I think that they, you know, with his team, they make them all here. They get about 3 years out of a fence. Aren't they beautiful though? I just love them.
Absolutely, and as we just said, if you just look at this here, the way it's presented so well. Even if a horse comes down, I think, and is a little bit low, it's so well presented that they're giving you every single chance to get away without making too much of a mistake. It's a credit to the team here.
Where are you taking off from here now, Barry?
Well, if I was going down to this,
yeah.
I'd like to be getting a little bit closer than Puppy now. Maybe that's the difference now between me and Puppy. But I'd like to be coming down and a horse having a good look into it and getting as close as you can without getting too tight, obviously. And just it's all part of getting the good rhythm and not chancing too much too early. Like I suppose, especially if it's only your second fence in the Gold Cup, you probably don't want to be coming out and chancing coming up too far away and making your mistake, just to get your rhythm off a little bit.
Looking down, one of the things I see is huge width. Jamie, they've got lots and lots of width. Of course, on the inside, we're going to have the hurdles track, and that is where the Tattersalls Island Grade 1 novice will be run on Sunday. But aren't they lucky with the width? Isn't it marvellous?
Yeah, they have a great area here. Obviously, the chase course never really moves off that. The fences only come up during the summer. I think they come up. They take up the fences, don't they, in the summer? So they come up and the whole thing gets refreshed. But as you see, the inside, there's room there for 4 or 5 tracks, you know, and look at they're able to cater well for the calibre of horse that are running, you know, at Christmas and then back into the Dublin Racing Festival. To have that ground there, it's great, and that's why the racing is here.
Tell me, to me, I mean, you're not going to go through that very easily, but it's a very fair fence, and of course they're going to be jumping the other way. How are we describing these?
They're well measured, you know, they're at the height, but look at you know, I think the difference between here and the UK tracks, Pup, is the back bar is a little bit lower, I think the Birch maybe gives a fraction easier, but you know, I still think there's enough forgiveness in these that if you make a mistake, they will stop you a little bit, but they're not going to put you on the floor either.
And that's the whole thing about a steeplechase fence. It's national hunt racing. The good jumper should always have an advantage. If a horse comes down and makes a mistake at this fence, it's not going to necessarily put him on the floor, but it's going to lose a length or two, and that's what jump racing is all about. A horse that's jumping well should always be at an advantage, gaining a length or two. But these fences are really well presented, as Jamie saw there. Like, that's a beautiful fence, and if you make a mistake, you're going to lose a length or two, and that's the aim of the game.
How should a horse jump a fence though? I mean, you like to see him going through, you don't want to see him high over a fence.
No, there's look at you don't want to see them high and then they're going to lose a length in the air. You just want to see them nice and economical through the fence, and you know, like, look at they're a great fence. You know, if you have a good jumper jumping these, you know, they're on the money. You know,
the most important thing for a steeplechaser, whether if he's a bit higher, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's that he jumps through the air. A horse should always, from take-off to landing, should be quick through the air, and these fences entice a horse to do that.
I must say the Dublin Racing Festival, it's in its 5th year. It's been a huge success, bringing all these wonderful Grade 1 horses together. It's been good, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, look at it has. Any new idea, I suppose, when they brought it in 5 years ago, you know, you want to see a success, but they've given it great backing, and you know, look, obviously Tattersalls Ireland were very keen to get in at the very start and sponsor, and you know, we've continued through. So, but like, it's a great advertisement for all of Ireland, for the jump racing and the industry. So it's great to have it here.
Just come over onto the hurdle track. How do they differ ground-wise, Puppy?
Ground-wise, we saw the watering system on the chase track, and there's gallons and gallons of water going to go onto the chase track over the next few days. Hurdle track won't need any of that. There's a good stick. That's probably yielding to soft ground there. So, and a fantastic cover on the ground. There's beautiful cover on the ground, and I suppose the most famous of all Derby Sale graduates, Honeysuckle, is going to be on this, and it's going to be great to see her back again. She suffered her first defeat on her last start, but that form is very, very good. You know, I thought she had a great race in Fairyhouse, and back to Leopardstown where she loves it so much. And
she's a remarkable mare. What is she, 16 of 17 or 17 of 18, I think, whatever. When you get on a mare, and a good one, okay, they get £7. The good ones, of course, almost should be giving £7. When you get a good mare, a Dawn Run or a Honeysuckle or something like that, it must be wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, and over the last number of years we've seen some fantastic mares, and she's probably the best of the whole lot of them, and it's been great for Irish racing to have her around for the last number of years, and unfortunately that unbeaten run came to an end, but that was always going to happen at some day anyway. No racehorse goes through their life unbeaten, especially a national hunt horse.
We won't talk about Cheltenham, but tell me about Stateman. Can she beat Stateman at the weekend?
Yeah, I think she can. I think on her day she can beat anything, you know, so the ground is going to be perfect, and it's going to be very interesting to see what will in run Stateman, Vauban, Honeysuckle, and she bounces back to winning ways. It'd be great. Great for Irish racing and great for the crowds that are going to be here to see her.
I'd like to see the Betrayer even.
Yeah, but she handles all types of ground. Yeah. She's won it all, but this ground here on the hurdle track is going to be, there's no excuse for any horse. This ground is perfect, so I don't think the ground will be an issue.
Yeah. There'll be some atmosphere if she can come up in front. You can just imagine the roar, the stands. But look, it'd be great to get her back. And
she cost £9,500 at the Derby sale. Tattersalls, as we know, they're sponsoring the Group 1, Grade 1 Novice Hurdle on the Sunday. Barry, they sponsor an awful lot of point-to-points. I mean, the grassroots is terribly important.
Yeah, look, Robert, that's where a lot of these horses start out. Like we mentioned, Honeysuckle, she started her career at point-to-point, and look, where Tattersalls Ireland do great with all their sponsorship for the point-to-points, and it's a big thing, and it's like they're there with us and a long time now, and every year in, year out, and it's great to have them there.
You had 2 winners at the weekend that's just been. You're going to be at Leopardstown there this coming weekend.
Yeah, look, our 4-year-old maidens start start on Sunday, so we'll probably be there first, and hopefully then we can tip back up to Leopardstown.
What are you on now? 732?
Yeah, 732 now, yeah. So
What did you make?
He's catching up.
He's got a bit to go.
He's still young though. You see, he's another 2 years to ride, so he'll be. I think Barry has the drive to get 1,000. I fell a bit short of it, but I think this man over here now has that drive in him. So.
Robbie, you were doing coloured poles before you went on to the racecourse. Did you ride point of points ever? I mean, with a...
Yeah, I had a very good record in point of points. I had 2 rides in point of points. Fell and pulled up. Yeah. So I think I was a 16-year-old and I rode a 5-year-old mare. My mother's in a maiden first time out, so it was kind of a baby on a baby. He did ride a winner for my mother, yeah. He was a
but
good
now
horse.
Just tell me, we're talking show jumping. What sort of an education was that to riding a steeplechaser?
I think it was a very good education. It worked out very well for me. And I mean, it's jump racing. It's all about getting horses into a rhythm, getting horses jumping, and I found that helped me a great deal starting off. I think the one thing I had to adjust to was the different speed. It was very easy for me to get a horse into a rhythm and get them jumping at show jumping pace. But when I first went into Jesse Harrington's and started schooling, that was a different pace, even schooling. And it took a few sessions to get going. But once you adapt and your eye adapts to seeing strides going a bit faster, I think it was a great grounding.
What a weekend we have ahead of us. We're talking about honeysuckle, and we're going to see a lot of Tattersalls Island graduates, and that brings me to the inspections, which are starting really after the weekend. Exciting times, Jamie. You've been into a lot of yards over the years, and it's lovely seeing horses, before perhaps the sales prep begins. What sort of animals are you looking at?
Look, movement is key for me. I suppose pedigrees are there in front of you, but I always say if you can move, you can jump or run or you can do whatever. So movement is key with me. Just a nice physical. You know, they need to stand up and look like they can be a racehorse. And but yeah, it is. I was just saying it to Orla in the office the other day. It's an exciting time. You're trying to organise your visits, get out to the farms and have a look at these horses that'll hopefully be selling with us in the summer.
We're in a strong position, aren't we? I mean, last year top price 310,000. Half a dozen horses make over 200,000.
Yeah, it was a lot of records broken last year. Record average, record median, 6 horses over 200,000, 310,000 top lot, and a record for horses over 150,000 as well. So yeah, it's been a phenomenal year, and the quality of horse in Ireland at the moment is mind-boggling. There's some fantastic looking horses out there, and hopefully a lot of them will be Derby Sale graduates.
Barry, movement obviously very big in everybody's book, really. It's remarkable how many good horses have come out of the Derby Sale.
absolutely, and look, the facts are there year in year out, but the Derby Sale always produces top horses, and looking forward again to getting top horses in that sale again and producing once again.
Was it John Blaheen who got the 310, I think, last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. It's the old saying, if you can walk, you can gallop. Horse can walk, he's going to end up here.
This is the second regulation. This is the second open ditch. Tell me about it now. We're 3 from home, Poppy.
Yeah, you're 3 from home. You're probably just over half a mile from home as well. And this is where a very important stage of the race, any race, whether it be 2 mile or 3 mile, the Gold Cup, you're coming to third last. This is a fence you don't want to miss. If you make a mistake here, the bend comes up very quick afterwards. You'll lose your position straight away because someone's going to be going better than you and take that posse.
Come from the outside nearly.
Yeah, exactly, because you jump it, you're going to have horses on your outside, and you land. If you miss it, they're gone. They're in your spot. The bend is just here, so you're going to have to sit and suffer then the whole way around the bend.
Yeah.
And there's
Tell me about last year. You were on Manila Inda. You had Conflated. You had Davy on your inside.
Yeah.
Bryony Frost was there on Frodon.
Yeah, Bryony made the run, and Davy was creeping down the inside on Conflated. I was just in behind the Manila Indo, There was someone else coming out wide, I can't remember who it was, but I jumped the ditch really well on Indo, and you come into the bend, and I have a decision to make coming off the bend. Will I switch down the inside and track Davy on Conflated, who was 18 to 1, or will I stay outside of Frodon, who was 7 to 1? I said I'll stay outside Frodon. If I go down the inside and follow Conflated and he hits the wall, I'm stuck in a pocket with nowhere to go. Went outside, Davy got way through the inside and was gone 4 or 5 lengths from me off the bend. Was it the winning and losing the race? I'm not so sure, but the way Conflated hit the line, probably not. But yeah, this is the quick decisions a jockey has to make, and this is the point of the track. A lot of the time, you've got to make them decisions, because this fence, the third last and the second last, it looks like there's plenty of space in between them, but they actually come at you very quick because you're starting to race now.
Conflated and Davy Russell. There's a new name on the Paddy Pot Irish Gold Cup. Conflated has won it in some style.
Robbie, you said the significance of the third last. I'd say the second last can tell a story or two. But here we are at the last. There's still a lot to do.
Yeah, it's a long run on the chase track from the last to the winning post, and it's uphill the whole way, as you can see. Same as from the second last, you're climbing the whole way, and I've often gone to the second last thinking I was going very well, and by the time you get to the last, your race is well over. You know, it's a long, and you're quickening the whole way off that bend uphill.
Is it punishing, or is it just gradual? It's you're on the collar all the time.
It's just gradual, you know, and from the third last, you're racing all the way, and you're climbing a hill the whole way as well. You know, so it does take plenty of getting, and this is where the importance of jockeys walking the course before racing comes into play, because often the further out you go on the straight, the better the ground. I remember Faheen and Easy Game, I was on here one year, I came stand rail for better ground, Faheen stuck to the inside, and I nearly beat him. Probably would have been booed out of Leopardstown if I did beat him that day, but ground, and you'll notice as the week goes on, and that's why when you're dropped in off the bend on the chase track, it's never the biggest worry in the world, because they will open out and spread out down to the last, so if your horse is good enough, you get a run.
Something I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, how conscious are you of the crowd? I mean, we're at the last now. Can you hear them, or do you just not, it doesn't?
I think you can, yeah, definitely. The crowd help. Like, you know, we had a couple of years there where we had no crowd, and I definitely was a difference then. So now, having people back, I think it does. I think the horses appreciate it. We like it. You know, I think it just.
Let's walk up to the winning post. We're going to hear a bit more, aren't we, as we get closer. This is it, fellas. We're at the end of 3 miles, or the end of a circuit, and everybody's going mad. This is the winning post. This is where you get paid out. This is where they get paid out. Those stands are going to be absolutely packed at the weekend. There's going to be racegoers, breeders, vendors. It's why we're all in it and why we adore it so much. And I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. This is what it's all about when you're standing here, and hopefully we're going to have all our vendors and breeders and all that there, and they're going to be hoping that's their horse crossing this line, you know, and that's ultimately what it's all about.
Everybody wants to get there in front. Barry, I mean, your big time starts after this weekend looking at these horses, and a lot of people are going to be here that had that interest with you.
Yeah, definitely, and look, it's great to get out on the road and meet these people and see them here again, and hopefully some of their horses in the coming years, or even at this festival, that it'll be their horse passing the line. So it'll be great, and great to look forward to.
Every year it's the same, isn't it? You know, the wonderful thing about jumping is that these horses, there's a bit of longevity in them. You know, we get to know them, the crowd adores them. Winter racing in Ireland, it's unlike anywhere else.
It is, exactly, and as you say, it's year after year, these good horses coming back. We're seeing Honeysuckle coming back again. It's a fantastic thing, and as you say, all these breeders and vendors hoping that their half brother to the horse they have at home, or half sister, is crossing this line in front, because that's going to make their horse a lot more valuable for the summer.
Well, you're all on the road after the weekend. Best of luck to you all, and I hope you bring some beautiful horses to the Derby sale. I know you will. And I must tell you that I hope you've enjoyed the course walk. There will be a course walk on Sunday morning with the guys, and you can go in for it, because all you have to do is get onto the Tattersalls website, look at the social media, and you'll be guided from there. 20 of you could be lucky. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.